Hey folks, Matt from artoftheimage.com. Following up on my Sony a6300 video, A63, I want to say 63,000 because of A6000, but it's A6300. The 6 things about it that have me really pumped, really excited. I am really excited about this camera, but there are a few things that I wish Sony would have added that I think they kind of left out, little changes I think they would have made. So I've got 4 things that I wish Sony had done differently with the a6300. First and foremost, and this probably won't surprise those of you that are familiar with my nitpicks about the a6000, is the a6000's kit lens is less than stellar. The 16 to 50, not a great performer. I think Sony could really make a better kit lens here, and I think they had an opportunity to give us a better kit lens with the a6300, and that would have been awesome. I'm not talking about necessarily a faster one, although they could add an option for a faster one the way Fuji does. But what they could have done here is they could have just re-engineered it and given us a better performing lens. Something that's a little sharper, a little more consistent right across the frame, a little sharper in the corners would have been really nice. Would have been fine if it was still variable aperture, the 3.5 to 5.6 or even a 3.5 to 4.5 would have been nice. But certainly a better performing lens would have been very much appreciated, because it looks to me like this is just the same kit lens that you could get with the a6000 being offered with the a6300, and that's a bit of a disappointment with all of the awesome advancements and the incredible image quality and the incredible 4K video quality we're expecting out of the a6300. To pair it up with such an underwhelming kit lens is a bit of a disappointment, and I really was hoping Sony would have improved their kit lens offering for this level of camera. My second point is the LCD. I really like the Sony LCDs. They work well, but just the fact that it's a flip up instead of a full vari-angle LCD. You know, the kind of LCD you get on the Panasonic GH4, the Panasonic G7, the Nikon D55, the Canon T6i, T6s. This is the type of LCD I would really have liked to have seen on the a6300. One that flips out and is able to swivel right around instead of just a flip up. They're just a much nicer LCD and much better to work with. Now granted, at least it isn't a fixed LCD. That does have the ability to flip up, and I think it flips back a little too for overheads. But I would have preferred a full vari-angle LCD. Hopefully Sony will start to move this way, but I haven't seen this on any of their bodies to date other than their DSLTs. But certainly their, what was previously the NEX line, the new the a6000, the a63, and the a7s, none of them have this. So it's something I would like to see Sony do. It's an advancement, a feature that's better that I would like to see them bring to their bodies. And I was really hoping the a6300 would be that camera that would be the first one to feature that type of vari-angle LCD, but it's not. Still, I'm still pleased that at least it's a flip up and not a fixed LCD. My third point is batteries. The NP-FW50. It's used in pretty much the whole Sony lineup for all of their A series, like the A7 series take it, the A6000 took it, I think even the lower ones, the 3000 and the 5100 and all the other lower ones down the chain from the A6000, they all use that battery. And there's something to be said for that. That's in some ways a good thing, because you can have multiple Sony cameras and not have to have multiple batteries. They're all interchangeable and they all work across your Sony cameras, which that's a really good thing. The problem is that battery is a very weak battery. As most people realize, the battery life is not great on Sony cameras. And that's the problem with the battery, is the battery life, how long it lasts, how many shots you get, and especially now that we're going to be shooting 4K video on the a6300, that's going to eat through batteries very, very quickly. So I don't know if Sony could have addressed this by keeping the same form factor and bringing out like a NP-FW50 Mark II battery that was re-engineered with higher level of tech, so the battery was the same size and it still fit in all their cameras, but it was a more powerful battery. That would have been a really cool option. I'm not sure if they could have done that. I think they probably could have, rather than changing the battery into a simply bigger battery that was the first camera to take a different battery. But overall, I think I would have been okay with having a different battery for the a6300 that was more powerful, that would last longer, that would give us more time for 4K video and more time out on shoots. that's my nitpick there with the batteries. I think we do need to see Sony address a better battery level, and it would be great, as I said, if they can make it compatible with the existing battery and all the other cameras, and just have one that comes out that's a much stronger battery. That's something that they could do after the fact of the release of the a6300 that the whole lineup would benefit from, and I'd really like to see Sony look at that and address it. My fourth nitpick has to do with connectivity. Really would have liked to see Sony go to the Bluetooth snap bridge type thing that Nikon's using now for the D5 and the D500. Being connected by Bluetooth is just better. It's just way better. It doesn't drop connections. You could stay connected, and it makes transfer easier and faster of photos and video. I just would really like to see them do that. I'd like to see all manufacturers go to a Bluetooth connection like the snap bridge that Nikon's using. Hopefully they'll do this in a further camera. Obviously the 6300 doesn't have it, but maybe the next update of an A7 will have it. Maybe even the update to the A5100 when it comes out will have it. It'd be really nice tech to have, and I just like to see all camera manufacturers move to this. I'm still happy that we have the NFC and Wi-Fi connections for the a6300. I just really wish they had moved to Bluetooth. Anyways, guys, that's my 4 points, my 4 nitpicks that I have with the a6300. And as I said, don't get me wrong, I'm loving the look of this new body. I can't wait to get it in my hands and shoot with it. I'm actually considering switching over to it as my main gun for 2016. I get gas just like the rest of you guys, gear acquisition syndrome, and I'm interested in having a different body. And now that they've addressed the problems I had with the a6000 for the most part, I'm really interested in acquiring this body as maybe my main shooter. I'm going to get it in, test it, and then look at doing that. What do you guys think, though? What do you think about my 4 nitpicks, my 4 caveats to the a6300, 4 things I wish they had it done differently? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Leave your comments below. Let us know if you agree and why, if you disagree and why. And let's discuss the a6300 and things that could have been that aren't. Anyways, thanks folks. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned. We'll be back soon here at artoftheimage.com.